Welcome back to Sommelier, your tastemaker for every little thing. My name is Bria, and today I am in my bridal whites because we're talking about wedding dresses. So a little bit of context, I'm starting this bridal series because while I am not married, never have been married, not engaged, a lot of the people in my life are getting married or are engaged, and I'm watching firsthand on how challenging it can be to enter into your bridal era because there's all sorts of vocabulary you don't usually use. There's all sorts of words that people are using to describe. You got to make a lot of choices in a short amount of time. And plus you're trying to enjoy actually being engaged. So I decided to make this series for all my future brides or just people who are interested in learning more about wedding dresses or just things that brides have to think about. And while a lot of this content is gonna be from a femme perspective, I think it's applicable to everybody. Like if you are a femme or not, or mask, or if you are just a person who's interested in what your partner goes through or not, or you are yourself a person with your partner who are going to be wearing a lot of femme-forward things, I think this series will apply to you. And I'm super excited to share it because it's such a special part of your life. So if you're watching this and you're engaged, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. I love you. And if you're not, hey, we're about to learn some new things because I am also not. So let's get right into it. Today, we're gonna be talking about wedding dresses. And you know, the first thing I wanted to talk about were like common shapes of wedding dresses because once again, there's all sorts of vocabulary out there that you just don't use in normal life. And from my previous rehearsals of this content, I can tell you that it's kind of better just to show rather than tell what all the different wedding dress shapes are. So I'm gonna go through a few of these. I have this really awesome graphic I got from brides.com to help demonstrate to you all what a lot of these things look like. First thing is A-line wedding dresses. So A-line dresses are absolutely beautiful and they look like this because they kind of look like the shape of the capital letter A, like that, like that, capital letter A. That's why they call them A-line. They kind of follow the form of a capital letter A, for lack of a better word. The next one I'm gonna talk about is mermaid fits. And mermaid fits are called that because similar to a mermaid, really accentuated around the hips and then a free flowing bottom, like near the feet. That's a similar vibe of a mermaid dress as seen here. Yeah, doesn't it remind you of Ariel from The Little Mermaid, obviously? Anyway, next up we've got trumpet, not to be confused with mermaid. Trumpet is a little bit more like open at the bottom. It's kind of like if you take a trumpet, if you're familiar with the instrument, and then you flip it upside down. It's like shapely at the top and then flare at the bottom. And then for those of you, speaking of, you know, The Little Mermaid in Disney, those of you who have ever seen a Disney movie will be familiar with the ball gown. Or if you were like me and a debutante in a past life, I wore a ball gown to my debutante ball many moons ago, where you have a little largely fitted at the top and then a huge like open situation at the bottom. Think of like Beauty and the Beast. Belle wore a ball gown walking down the stairs. And for those of you who have actually worn ball gowns before will know that I'm talking hoop skirts, I'm talking tulle, I'm talking a lot of thickness underneath it. Those are what ball gowns are if you are looking for a ball gown for your wedding. Next up, we've got column dresses. They're kind of like up and downy like this, but that's not all. We've also have empire dresses. They look kind of like this, not to be confused with the others. Finally, drop waist dresses. So those are the ones that have a really high waist and then they drop in the middle. They are very popular on House of CB. If you guys are watching them these days, tons of drop waist dresses are popular at the moment. So yeah, and like I said, it's better to show rather than tell. I can describe all these things to you if you are interested, but you can see them right here. These are all the different common names of dresses. So as you try to identify what you like, as you try to identify what your perfect dress is, this is some vocabulary you can take to the internet first and foremost to see if this is really the style you like, and also to your bridal consultants as you guys move forward to your bridal fittings. Alrighty, so next thing I want to talk about are wedding dress colors. So if you are like me, you think that wedding dresses can only be white. And actually, they could be a lot of different colors. Frankly, any dress you wear to your wedding is going to be your wedding dress. So I wouldn't really be pressed too much about colors and what they may represent, but just for your knowledge and awareness, I thought I would cover some wedding dresses, some colors wedding dresses can be, and what they may represent to other people that are not you, because once again, whatever you wear to your special day is gonna be your wedding dress, no matter what color it is. Hi there, Bria from the future here. I found a really awesome creator on TikTok that explains what I'm trying to say about the difference between ivory, champagne, blush, and white dresses super well. So I'm going to hand it off for her for a minute. Like and subscribe to their content, y'all. Thanks so much.
And let's take a minute and talk about coloring. We've had a lot of brides come in recently and be like, I know I want bridal white, but typically what they actually have in mind is ivory. And I want to show you the difference. So in the middle here, I have got a true bridal white dress. As you can see, it's very bright, absolutely white. and it's making this ivory dress next to it look very yellow. But that's only because it's next to a super white dress. On this side, I've got a color called Biscotti. It's like our designer's kind of pinky champagne tone. And really that difference, like it kind of still looks pink. The white doesn't throw it off. But let me show you a little trick. So I took away the bridal white dress, and I think automatically you can tell how much brighter the ivory is. It just looks a little more lifelike, a little less dull, much less yellow. So this color is really skewed when it's next to a white dress. It's only that you say ivory, they think yellow, but bridal ivory really is this beautifully romantic and soft kind of white color. I think the Biscotti still looks pretty much so the same. I think it does have a little less dullness to it when the white is taken away, but still. And I'm gonna show you again the difference having a white dress next to these two, making the color, but typically bridal ivory feels very white to the vast majority of our brides.
Next up, we're gonna talk about fabrics. So if you are a dress person in general, you sometimes see, oh my gosh, polyester, oh my gosh, satin, oh my gosh, all these different names. I'm gonna talk about some common dress fabrics, just so you understand A, what they look like, and B, what they are, so you can identify them as you are on your dress journey. So the first one I wanna talk about is satin. This is what satin looks like. It's smooth, it's glossy, it's great for structure and a very formal look if you're interested in that. And again, there's so many beautiful options. These are just a few. So satin this is what it looks like, and this is what you can identify as satin. Next is lace. I think a lot of us are familiar with lace. If you grew up with doilies around the house, those are very lace reminiscent in my opinion. This is what lace looks like. You sometimes see them on top of another satin pattern. They're absolutely beautiful and stunning. I mean, look at these examples, like amazing. Next, we've got chiffon. If you're not familiar with chiffon, this is what it looks like. Once again, this is a show rather than tell type of situation. This is what chiffon looks like. This is very flowy, very airy. People like them for like beach weddings or outdoor weddings. They're just very la la la, like I'm a fairy. Anyway, next is tulle. Speaking of fairies, I think that one's even more like, I think she's a fairy. Tulle is another stiff sheer fabric. It adds a lot of volume. It's often used in ball gowns, and this is what it looks like. It's beautiful. Finally, crepe. Crepe is a matte, soft fabric with a little bit of stretch. It's often used for like a minimalist style or something close to it. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. This is called crepe. So those are a couple of different extremely popular fabrics that wedding dresses can be made from. This is not inclusive of all, but once again, my goal is to give you guys some vocabulary as you are out looking for your dream dress for your perfect day. Next up, I want to talk about different places you can buy wedding dresses from. So you may think the first place is bridal boutiques, and I'm going to talk about those. So bridal boutiques are absolutely beautiful shops. They don't have to be, you know, the Kleinfelds out in New York, but there's some really beautiful, really special, really intimate experiences that you can have at bridal shops. They are expensive, but it's such a fun and unique experience. I've participated in a few myself. It's just so cool and so special, and you've probably got one in your hometown. But yeah, bridal shops are, you know, probably the #1 place most people go to shop for their wedding dresses, but they are not the only place. You can also look online. This is no shocker to anyone. I know I myself am an avid online shopper, so no shocker to anyone that you can buy pretty much anything you want online. My personal story is when I was a debutante many years ago, I bought my debutante dress online. It was a huge ball gown, and I got it from China, and I had a seamstress kind of tool with it before I had to wear it for my big day. And it was really cool and really special, and I looked exactly the way I wanted to look. But at the same time, if you don't want the stress or the drama of waiting for a dress from abroad, you have some other options stateside if you are based in the US that might be helpful for you. And those include department stores. So they're often more affordable. They've got a really wide range of and variety of styles. Some places that I might recommend, Nordstrom's. Honestly, there's a bunch of places where people get their prom dresses that also sell a small selection of bridal at times. So wherever you got your prom dress, if you participated in a prom or a special event in high school, will likely also sell dresses. So that's another place you can check. The Nordstroms, the Bloomingdale's, the Neiman Marcus's, and whatever your local prom dress place was. So those are all very viable options. Another option for you guys are actually trunk shows. So I was less familiar with trunk shows before I started doing research for this piece. So they are special events at boutiques where designers will showcase their newer collections, and they often offer discounts for their selection. So I'm a big fan of Galia Le Havre. They often share their trunk show dates and locations on their Instagram. So if you guys are just looking for, you know, your favorite designer, or you know of a designer that you've got in mind for your wedding dress, you can also go to you can look online and just Google like trunk shows for them, and you can see the dates and then maybe make plans to either attend, or maybe, who knows, it's right in your hometown and you're able to attend the trunk show yourself. But it is an awesome, awesome option for you if you are interested in getting a dress from a specific designer. So trunk shows, keep those in mind. Another really special way to get a wedding dress are sample sales. Now this one's gonna be a little bit harder. If you guys have seen any of the videos from some of the sample sales out in New York, you know that there is a long line trying to get into the sample sale because some of these really special designers do have extreme discounts for the dresses, but it is an option that I myself would maybe not have thought of firsthand. So sample sales are another great place you can get dresses. Again, really cool, special place if you're a little bit more eco-friendly, you don't want like a net new dress, is maybe a vintage shop. So vintage shops often offer one-of-a-kind special pieces that you can take and then maybe take to a tailor or a dry cleaner and have it completely refreshed and renewed for your taste and style from a tailor, and then clean and brought back up to life from a like a seamstress or a dry cleaner, or just someone that is able to work with fabrics like the dress that you've chosen. You can even go to like a Michael's or something, or like a fabric store, and add fabric to the dress if you've got a really solid seamstress. These are all really viable, really special options if you are interested in them. So yeah, a vintage store to get kind of the basic shape of the dress, and then you can add different things to it if you wanted to as you go along. Another place to go in addition to the vintage stores are consignment shops. I know I get a lot of my furniture from consignment shops, but it is another really awesome place to get gently used dresses at a fraction of the price, and they are often really, really, really nice. So do not discount your local consignment shop if you are looking for a wedding dress. Another place you can go, kind of in the same hand of online resale platforms like gently used things, are dress rentals. You can rent an extremely high-end gown, maybe a gown more expensive than you're willing to buy, from a dress rental place. You just Google wedding dress rental, you get so many awesome options, probably local to your area, that are absolutely beautiful and will make you look astounding on your special day. So that's another really cool place you might be able to get your special dress. And finally, if you want to have a dress made, let's say you know exactly what you want, but you're just not seeing it in any of the options that I've laid out before you, here are some things you want to keep in mind. So the first thing you're going to want to do is find a really, really good seamstress that lives in your area. So a seamstress is usually going to be the person that's going to pull all the different elements of the dress that you want together and actually create the dress itself. It doesn't have to be someone at David's Bridal. It could be someone local. I would just Google seamstress in your area, do a consult with them, just say, hey, I'm wondering if you make bridal dresses. I have an idea of what I want, but I would need someone to kind of pull it together for me, and just start a discussion with your seamstress that way. That's the very first thing you want to do. It is very possible, but it can be a little bit more on the expensive side. It depends on who you're working with. Let's say you've got the hookup, you've got a good friend that's an excellent seamstress. Maybe they'll make it for you for a reasonable price, but oftentimes if you're asking someone to make a wedding dress from scratch, that can be quite a bit of work. So just think about it. It's an option on the table for you if you are just not seeing what you want immediately available. Next thing I want to note about custom dresses is they take more time, as you could imagine, because you are making it from scratch to alter and to create. So you're going to want to start really, really just as early as you possibly can when it comes to making a custom dress. So keep that in mind. But also you're going to need just extra time for fittings and things, so it fits you like a glove, like it was made for you, because it was literally made for you. No matter what you do though, you're going to want to have a really good tailor at your disposal, so you can, like I said, make sure that it looks like it is made for you, even though you may be using secondhand or vintage or whatever. You're going to want to have a really good tailor on hand to do multiple fittings so that it fits you perfectly on your big day. So find a really good tailor in your area if you are recently engaged, and start to build a relationship with them. Start to explain to them what you're looking for, what you want to look like, because you're probably going to be seeing them more than once. Some of these bridal shops though, they have tailors that they work with or they prefer, so maybe you'll work with them instead. I'm not sure, but you're going to want to have a tailor in your back pocket as you get closer and closer to your big day. Alrighty, so now that we have picked out where we're going to get our dress from, let's talk about some things you might want to bring with you on your fittings for your bridal occasion or your bridal shopping trip. So the first thing you want to do is be very honest with yourself about how much money you are trying to spend. Be honest, be clear, because the last thing I know any of us want is for you to fall in love with a dress that you or your family cannot afford. So be clear, be honest, know going in how much money you're trying to spend, and do your best to communicate that to your stylist, and don't go over that. That's the first thing. The next thing you're going to want to bring are shoes. Whatever shoes you plan to wear to your special day, please bring either them or shoes of similar height so that you have a really good idea of like how tall or how short or whatever you're gonna be and how the dress is actually gonna fit you on the day of your wedding. The next thing I would recommend in addition to the shoes are really solid shapewear. Now this is me personally, I'm gonna tell my personal opinion. So while I know the girls love some Skims, they've got a whole bridal collection that I know is extremely popular. I myself really love Spanx. I feel like the quality is there. I am feeling incredibly supported. I feel like it's like a little bit, it's just higher quality. The fabrics are higher quality. They last me forever. Every pair of Spanx I've ever owned has lasted me for years. I've owned every pair of Spanx I've ever owned, I still have. And Skims, while they are super cool and they've got a really wide variety of styles, again, I always find myself going back to Spanx. But if neither Spanx or Skims are things that you are interested in spending your money on, there are also a lot of really viable options of shapewear at Target. They've got really great options at Nordstrom's and at Neiman Marcus if you are interested for about maybe 30 or 40 bucks. So I feel like really reasonable prices if you are interested in spending money on shapewear. They've got a really wide variety of options out there for you, but whatever you choose to wear, bring them to your bridal appointment. Another like tip for me, I actually have underwear that's shapewear at Spanx, so you could just wear a regular pair of panties that like shape you a little bit more tightly. If you are interested in that, love them. I own 2 pairs, and if you are a person with a deeper skin tone like myself, they've got a lot of really, really great options that are flesh tone that I really appreciate and like. They also have black, they've got white, they've got a lot of really great variety of options for you if you are a person like me of a deeper skin tone, or really any person looking to be snatched on your special day. So yeah, that being said, shapewear, shoes, your budget. Be very clear about those 3 things going. The next thing I would say to bring with you are either pictures or your Pinterest board or a magazine or your favorite stylist that you or bridal stylist that you have in mind. Like bring those with you so that you can have an extremely clear vision and communicate that to your stylist when you're at your bridal appointment, or just know it for yourself when you are shopping in the vintage shops or wherever you choose to shop. Something else I would say is know what you do not like. Like if you do not like fit and flare, if you do not like A-line, you can use some of the vocabulary I shared earlier to describe some of the things that you gravitate towards, or things where you're like, oh no, absolutely not. Like I'm absolutely not wearing a mini dress. Let's even start there. Something as small as that can be super helpful to a bridal stylist if you are working at a shop, or just super helpful to yourself knowing like, yeah, this is not the way I want to look on my big day. So thank you very much for the option, but no. We also want, I would say, to give yourself ample time. Like at the end of the day, you want to try and shop for your wedding dress at least a year or maybe 8 months beforehand, so you have plenty of time to get any alterations done. So keep that in mind as you are shopping. You have a lot of beautiful options, but you want to start early and check on things often. So something borrowed, something blue. It actually comes from a Victorian era poem of all things. The full poem goes, something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, and a 6pence in your shoe. It's from the Victorian era, long, long time ago. But that's where like the blue thing comes from, something borrowed, something blue. So a lot of people incorporate that blue thing into like their bridal shower or into their wedding day in some way, shape, or form. But if you're ever wondering like what that whole thing is about, if you've seen other weddings where people are talking about blue stuff, that's where it comes from. Something borrowed, something blue, this old poem that has just so happened to stick in Western culture. The last couple things I want to recommend for like thinking about your vision for your wedding and what you want to look like: family heirlooms, first and foremost. If there's a special pattern, or maybe a family seal, or maybe like a ring, or maybe like a pattern, I don't know. Your families can be so beautiful and diverse, but if there's something like a family heirloom that you would love to have included in your wedding, that might be a really great reference point for you as you think about what your dress would look like and what your bigger day will look like. Another thing I want to mention are, funnily enough, because we think they're disappeared and it's not 2000 anymore, magazines. Magazines are also a really wonderful way to get an idea of what you're looking for your big day. So do not discount magazines. The physical medium is not quite dead, and they also have some really beautiful references for different ideas you might have for your big day. Hi, this is me 2 days later. I was looking back at the footage of this and I realized I forgot to film a wrap. So that's all I've got to say about wedding dresses. Thank you so much for watching Sommelier. Like and subscribe for more content like this. I'm hoping to do an episode on like wedding rings, sizes, shapes, history, why these things can be so expensive, etc., etc. But please let me know what would be helpful for you, to all my new brides out there, newly engaged people, or even the gentlemen out there, or the masculine forward people. Please just let me know what would be helpful. And yeah, I'm super excited. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more content. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.